June meeting of council, and a reminder that this is being recorded on Teams, and also we should have the live stream working. If we try and get it working, if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Apart from the fact it's supposed to be a public meeting, but as long as we can get the IT working. Okay, so I have to ask the clerk, have you got members present, please, clerk?
I haven't, Chair, so if you could just go through now, then I'm going to tick those off, please.
Okay, so I'm going to call, actually I'm not going to call, I will tell you who's here. Myself, Councillor Greenwood, Councillor Kendrick, Councillor Pafford, Councillor Iserbo, Councillor Cabarana, Councillor Kent, Councillor Pecci, Councillor Ogantula, Councillor Holden Davis, Councillor Golding, Councillor Fraser, Councillor Uranta, and Councillor Dixon.
Thank you.
Those that are missing are Councillor Cahin, Councillor Odanuwu, and Councillor Harris.
Agreed.
And are there any apologies for absence?
No, Chair.
Members, are there any declarations of interest for anything that is going to be on the agenda this evening? I know that many of you will want to do a declaration for the Jeff Taylor Trust, and I believe that the clerk knows exactly who the trustees are on that, and we know we have to have a declaration on that. You don't need to do it yourselves, and I'll ask the clerk to register that. And the only other one is the Springfield Initiative, in which case I think that is Councillor Cavarana, who is a trustee on there. I've got your hand up, Carl. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other declarations?
Terry, myself, that's David.
Yeah, I've got you. And you for the Springfield Initiative. Thanks, David. Thank you.
Chair.
Who was that? Who just called chair?
It's me, Chair.
Yeah, Darren, go ahead.
I just wanted to apologise to yourself, members and officers, for IT issues and not being able to attend some of the meetings last night.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. You can take your hand down then, please. Thank you very much. We have no members of the public present.
I can't see my hand.
Chair, at the top.
At the top. Yeah, I'm not seeing that.
Councillor Ogantola's got a hand up.
Oh, yeah, Nana, thank you. Come in, Nana. You need to unmute, Nana.
Yes, I wanted to declare interest in item 19, Parish Council training request.
Okay, thank you.
That now? Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much. We got that recorded. Thank you. Okay, no members of the public present, I believe. So what we'll do, we'll go straight into item 2. If you can take your hand down now, please, Nana, then I can know when you put it up again. Item 2, which is the minutes of the meeting held on the 19th of May 2020. And as normal, I'm hoping that everybody that would have had a problem has contacted the clerk. And having checked the clerk, I know there isn't. So we'll start at page 7. And page 8. Yeah, go ahead.
Got hands up. It's on your bar, is it?
Yeah, Val hasn't got a hands up on her bar. So who's got a hands up? I can't see all of them. It's trouble. Right, there's no hands up. Okay. Val, did you want to say something?
No.
Right,
I've got
okay.
my hand up.
No, you haven't got your hand up.
No, I shouldn't have.
Right, okay. Page 9. And page 10. Is there a proposal for a true record? Carl, I saw that as a proposal.
Yeah.
Oh, those are people, that's great. Everybody's hands up. Okay, thank you very much. I will sign those now on your behalf. Okay, they will be in an envelope in the parish office tomorrow at some point. Public involvement. We have no public involvement. We've got no members in. Members
Sure.
matters. Clark.
Chair.
Yes, Chair. Clark.
Just an update on the live stream. I bring it in at this public participation section. We've managed to achieve an audio output on the YouTube, but unfortunately we don't currently have pictures. But I think it's most probably preferable that if we've got one out of the two, that residents can at least hear what's going on rather than just looking at us.
Thank you for that. I agree. Item 4, members matters. Are there any questions, Clark?
No, Chair.
Thank you. Chair's report. I wasn't intending to put a report in, but something come up very urgent well after the agenda came out that I must report on, and it's with regards to the Fishermead Community Garden between the Co-op and the Trinity Centre. There has been a lot of complaints from the Co-op, from residents, and from the Thames Valley Police with regard to the use of the community garden as a place where homeless people were living in the poly tent, and they were coming out and begging aggressively outside the Co-op. The Co-op called in Thames Valley Police. I don't know what's happened with the Trinity Centre. All I could see was a post on the community page, community fishermead page, with regard to the closure of the Trinity Centre. But I spoke to property services at Milton Keynes Council with regard to the community garden, due to the fact that there were so many complaints that were received and comments that were received about what was going on there. And yes, it is the garden is definitely on the leasehold of the Trinity Centre, but the Milton Keynes Council have all actually received a lot of complaints, and they are now looking into that as to why it's being used as it is. They spoke to the manager at the Trinity Centre several times. The police went for a Section 46 closure order, which I don't know whether that was actually completed. But the current state of play is that the homelessness intervention team are trying to get the guys that are sleeping in there accommodated. And at that point, then a padlock will be going back onto that area, because it must not be used for what it's being used as. It is actually a garden which was there for the use of the residents of Fishermead. So I'm hoping that will be brought back into that. That's all I know. I'm not going to have any debate on it. Just to let you know that there is something that is happening, and then you may hear what's going on in different from different medias. Okay, we're going on to the clerk to council's report, which everybody should have receive at page 11. And I just need to know, Dominic, is there anything else you need to add?
Just one small matter, Chair. It actually goes to all the chairs of the respective committees. Elaine has requested that you send in your annual reports for inclusion in the next edition of Home Ground. So I believe that she's had some. So if anybody's got that action outstanding, if they could take a look at that, please. I think as a kind of a prompt or an aid memoir, she has sent out the last year's reports as well, which will most probably be helpful. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I do apologise, Elaine. I'm one of those that hasn't completed that. It's been a bit of a hectic week or so. So it's I will hopefully get on with that before the end of this week. So can I have a notice that the clerk's report is received? Just a wave of your hands, please, as you are. Thank you very much. We're going on to item 7.
Can you see everybody then?
Sorry, Chair, I had my hand up.
Yes, I can scroll. It's okay. It's only to receive. We're not debating it. Item 7, the correspondence, which everybody's had in their packs and also would have been sent out to you electronically on each one. Is there anything in there that anybody wishes to make a note of or question? I've got 2 hands up, Tubo and Nana. Is that on the correspondence? Thank you. Tubo, are you on the correspondence?
Now, I think the next item, please.
Well, can you take your hand down then, please? And I have Carl. Your hand up?
Yeah, and it's about correspondence.
Okay, please.
When people respond or reply, can they stop replying to all?
Sometimes it is actually a good idea to reply to all on some of this stuff. But yeah, I do agree. It does make it long-winded, but some of the stuff is very actually needs a reply to all if people are all being corresponded with for a reason. It's like on a committee. So yeah, I do agree. It can be a pain, but it's only a matter of deleting it if you don't like it. Tom, you're muted, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Could I have a copy of Careers Action on page 15?
Careers Action.
Yeah, I just need a copy of it.
Can you manage that? Can you arrange that, please, Dominic?
I certainly will.
Thank you. And it's just an item to note. No other, if there's nobody else, I've got Catherine.
Yeah, it's about the canal meeting.
Yeah.
I didn't go to it because I couldn't get the information up on the screens. Because it wasn't being held in a particular room. It's like this.
Yes, it is. It was a Zoom meeting, I believe.
Yes. And I couldn't get onto it, so I didn't get involved in it.
Okay, no problem at all. Well, we will get the minutes back from that. I'll make sure we get the minutes. I'll get Dominic to ask for the minutes for that.
Okay.
Thank you. And so that is noted. Everybody happy with anybody that's not happy? If anybody's not happy, then use your hands up, please. Okay, that's noted. Item 8, ward members report. We have a ward members report from Catherine. Thank you for that, Catherine. And I'm sure that the item with regard to the golf balls at Albert Green will go forward to John and the landscape team to keep an eye open for. And yes, I believe that that fire on Shackleton Place was dealt with. These things happen, unfortunately. I wish they wouldn't happen in a built-up residential area. But thank you for your report, Catherine.
Okay, thank you.
We go on to item 9, which is the parish.
Terry, can I come in on this?
We don't debate the reports, do we?
No, it was just that I wanted to raise one.
No, you have to. We are being quite clear that everything's got to be done written, David. But I'll let you get away. As long as it's not a short one, I'll let you do it.
Well, it's fairly late notice. This is the trouble.
Chair,
So-
my hand is up as well, please.
Because I could.
Okay, I see you, Chibo, and I'll bring you in when I finish with the other councillor. Thank you, David. What do you mean it's short notice?
Well, I already picked it up this week.
Okay, go ahead. But we have been asking for a reason for them to be done in writing because it's difficult with this in this sort of way we're doing it. So go ahead, David.
Right. Well, one of the things that we've had a problem down in Woolstone is the road surfacing. Okay. Now, most of that's been complete, but the follow-on to that as well, and I wondered whether the parish council are being informed of this, because I got this through the Liberal Democrats, is the bus timetable has changed from an hourly service to a 2-hourly service. And the timetables on the bus shelters are still showing an hourly service. So I phoned up this week with Stuart at Milton Keynes Council, well, it was Friday, I think it was, and raised that with him and said, look, we're not getting notification. Can you make sure that it goes out to parishes? So what he's done is on the one down by the barge, I haven't checked the other bus shelters because they said of the cost, but they've actually put a revised temporary timetable up to let people know that instead of an hourly service, it's an hour, 2-hour service. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I wasn't informed on that, so I don't know why that's happened. I haven't had any information on that, but it's an Arriva service which doesn't have any money from Milton Keynes Council, so they actually don't need to tell us. I've got.
Terry, can I come back? It's not Arriva, it's Z&S.
Oh right, okay. Well, we will look at that as to why we didn't get any notification if that's the case. Dominic, do you know something about that?
Thank you, Chair. I do know about that. David may well have been told by the Lib Dems, but I actually emailed him in response to his question last week. I sent him over the link to Z&S, their website. They're running a temporary COVID timetable, as are many bus companies. That's the reason, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we put a revised timetable up on the parish notice board.
Thank you for that. Okay, thank you. David, thank you for highlighting that. Chibo.
Thank you, Chair. I have to start by apologizing for not writing mine in. And he quickly mentioned or touched on the topic I wanted to highlight to the council, that it looks as if the army or the shift from Milton Keynes train station for the homeless people has shifted now to Oldbrook. If you come to the Lido side of it and Tesco, it is as an army people up there. And I have had a bit of complaint asking why are they located Oldbrook now and not the rest of them. So I just wanted to ask if there is anything we can do. Is it something we'll have to leave as it is, or something we'll have to organize for them to move back to where they were coming from, wherever it is? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Shibo. As long as they're not being antisocial, there is no redress with Milton Keynes Council or with us. If there is antisocial behaviour, it has to go through Thames Valley Police. So if anybody does have any complaints of antisocial behaviour down there with aggressive begging or anything like that, please put it through 101, and Thames Valley Police will then put it through the antisocial behaviour team at Milton Keynes Council.
I must say, sorry, Chief, just to drive down my point, I must say their attitude or their process, as I quickly noticed when I got the information, is they're aggressive to people. They kind of bump into you with unexpectedly requesting for an arm or something. It's not that we couldn't help them, but Oldbrook is quite a reserve area, and if this is coming down here now, it means we'll be having some anti-social behaviors attached to it, if not possible.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I personally was approached, and it was quite aggressive, and I reported that to Thames Valley Police. So they are aware of the problem down there, and I know that the PCSOs are checking the area. Dominic, I see you've got your hand up. Do you want to speak?
Sorry, Chair.
Okay, Brian.
Yes, just on Shubo's point. Well, we're all aware of what goes on in Old Brook down at the bottom there. Unfortunately, as we've said many times before, the main priority of sorting this out is down to the people that own the car park, which is Lidl. We can only report it if there is antisocial.
I can't hear you, Brian.
Yeah, Brian, you're very low. I don't know if you can bring your microphone up a little bit. But we got that. The fact it's a private car park and Lidl are dealing with it. I believe it's actually Tesco's that own it, not Lidl. So anyway, whoever the contract company is down there, then yes,
Lidl,
I agree. Yeah. Okay. So we do need. We will pass. We will make sure that the PCSOs are aware. They are dealing with it, and the same as they are with the aggressive begging outside the co-op in Fishermead. Thank you. If you can take your hand down, please, Brian. Thank you. We'll go on to item 9, which is the Parish Council Internal Audit Report on page 19, which you've all hopefully had a chance to have a look at. Yet again, this council has had an A1 or an A-star report for its internal audits. And I personally am extremely happy with the way it's gone. So I think, yet again, our RFO has done a fantastic job with the accounts, and is invited to receive the internal audit. Does anybody wish to speak? Good evening, Dan. We've got you now. You're here. All right, Darren, yes, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'd just like to thank you as Chair of that committee and for Lisa's input as well for us making the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to speak? Is there? Can I take it that everybody is happy to have it received? Anybody that's not happy, just give me a wave or a hands up. Thank you. That is received. And we're going on to item 10, which is the Parish Council Financial Report year end, which I don't appear to have a page number on.
Chair, that's just, you will recall that we actually did that last month, so it's just a reminder.
That's correct, yes.
It's just a reminder to that and how that then dovetails into the next items.
Yes, thank you for that, Clark. Just to remind everybody, yes, we did agree the year end last month, and it means now that we can, now that's been agreed, in the following month we can then go for the annual return, which is the next item, which is at page 27. There we go. That's the annual report, the annual return. Now, I think everybody here has actually been through an annual return before. I don't intend to go through it each line unless anybody's got anything they want to pick up on it. And to make sure that it's signed in exactly the right place, Lisa is coming up to my place of work tomorrow with the correct copy for me to sign. So what we need to do is we need to note the year end. Does anybody wish to speak first? Can anybody wish to speak? Put their hand up. Okay. So I'll take that as received, and we will make sure that that goes off as normal for the well, we also consider that, so I do need a proposer and seconder for that item. proposer that we agree and accept the parish council annual return. Is there a proposer? Catherine.
I propose that we go forward with it.
Thank you. Tom. Are you all right to second?
I'll second that. Formally second it.
Thank you very much. Does anybody wish to speak? Okay. Dominic, are we ready? Will we be ready to use the poly poll?
The poly polls chair will actually be sitting with the meeting organiser, who is Elaine. So we need to see if Elaine can just start that.
Are you able to?
One moment, Chair. I was just trying to sort out the streaming, but I will do the poll now. One moment.
Thank you. That will come up in chat, I believe.
Yep.
So if everybody make sure they've got chat turned on their bar beside their hands up. So what you will see in a moment will be 3 boxes. One will say for, one will say against, and one will say abstain. When I ask you to vote, please vote in that, and then we'll close the vote and declare it. We'll get the clerk to just check it and declare it. No, Dan, you don't need to write for. We'll be putting polypoll up.
Elaine, is that loading or do we need to go to a manual?
I think what we'll do, we'll go to a manual.
Okay, ready,
Okay,
Chair.
so it's item 11, and that is to accept the annual report. So if I get everybody to unmute, please. And Councillor Baines, I am for. Councillor De Serbo.
For.
Councillor Dixon.
For.
Councillor Fraser. You're muted, Tom.
Chair, to come back to Tom, I suggest.
Okay. Councillor Golding.
For.
Councillor Greenwood.
For.
Councillor Holton Davis. I'll come back to Penny, she's muted. Councillor Cahin.
For.
Councillor Cavarana.
For.
Councillor Kendrick.
For.
Councillor Kent.
For.
Councillor Ogantula.
For.
Councillor Pafford.
For.
Councillor Pecci.
For.
Councillor Uranta.
For.
Coming back to Councillor Fraser.
For.
Thank you. And Councillor Holton Davis. Penny must be still muted.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have there. It's the vote. So is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 for, and 1 who hasn't voted. So that is carried. Thank you, members.
Sorry, Chair, you missed me. Councillor Odenu.
Sorry, you hadn't let me know you was in the meeting, Crispina.
Sorry, you were talking and I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, okay. Are you for?
I am.
Thank you. So we're now going on to, I've got to change this again into into that one there. And mute all. Mute. Thank you. Right, okay. Item 12, to receive draft minutes including recommendations from committees. Any member questions arising from matters detailed in the minutes will be raised under the relevant committee. There are only two committees, and that is Planning, Infrastructure and Transport. Councillor Greenwood, are you happy that we just put it forward as to receive the minutes, Councillor Greenwood?
The minutes, notes and everything, and whatever you need to do, no discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is that noted? Thank you. Minutes of Finance, Administration and Policy with one item for ratification. We will see agenda item 9, which we've actually already done, haven't we? Oh no, we've got to item 9. Internal audit. We now need to vote on the fact that we've got that as it's for item for ratification. So item 9 was the internal audit. Is there a proposer for that we that are in favour of the internal audit?
Opposed.
Second.
Chair. I will, Chair.
Thank you. I don't know whether Elaine, are you able to get the poll up, or is it? Do you want me to go the manual? So
I'm sorry, Chair, they've gone and changed the system and they're only giving me a trial package. Can you please go to a
yes.
vote?
Okay, thank you very much. So we're on item 12B, and that is a vote for the Parish Council internal audit report. So again, if everybody wants to unmute, please, to make sure you can be heard. Councillor Baines, I'm for. Councillor De Serbo?
4.
Councillor Dixon?
4.
Councillor Fraser?
4.
Councillor Golding?
4.
Councillor Greenwood?
4.
Councillor Holton Davis? Penny, you need to unmute. Right, I'll come back there. Councillor Cahin?
4.
Councillor Cabrana?
4.
Councillor Kendrick?
4.
Councillor Kent?
4.
Councillor Odnuwu?
4.
Councillor Oguntola?
4.
Councillor Pafford?
4.
Councillor Pecci?
4.
Councillor Uranta?
4.
Going back to Councillor Holton Davis. Penny, have you unmuted?
Yes. Can you hear me?
4. Thank you.
4.
That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Get rid of those. Just catching up with the paperwork my end. And okay. Item 13, Council invited to note the actions carried out in response to the coronavirus pandemic, the items 5 and 6 reports, and then consider any additional measures or contingency plans that it might wish to implement as a consequence of the ongoing situation. Additional measures and contingency plans to include those that would ordinarily be advanced by committees of council. Does anybody wish to speak? Put your hands up, please, if you do. Okay, I have Councillor Pafford.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask the question, now that the relaxation's happening with people milling around and all that, have we got a thing in mind when we're likely to get back as full council, that we can actually have a full council meeting?
The answer to that is quite simple, David. The fact that we are still only allowed a maximum of 6 people, no gatherings greater than 6 people. And it clearly states in that regulation that it's again 2 meters with 6 people. We just could not manage to do that because we wouldn't have the full council. So until such time as that is relaxed, and in reality they are still talking next year for that sort of thing. We'll see when it comes, but at the moment that's not something we can do. Catherine.
Right.
You've muted, Catherine. You was already unmuted.
We have got a problem down our street because there's 2 families that have been told to lock down for another 12 weeks. And I'm one of them, and there's an old couple across the road. I don't know how many more people in Old Brook that's being sent the letters to say they've got to do a further 12 weeks. And I haven't been able to get any information from the doctor surgery.
Yeah, they won't release that sort of information anyway. No. What we need to do is, I think the message we need to get out is the fact that if they are a further 12 weeks of shielding, if they need help, to make sure people know that they can get food parcels still through the LSS, the local support service, right, and through Food Bank Extra, which are still running. The government also are sending food parcels out in a different way, but I'm still not convinced that is actually working correctly. But I know that some parcels are being sent out. Yes, we are aware that there is shielding. Without knocking on every single door, which is something we shouldn't be doing, I don't think we will ever find out to a full extent just how many people are actually involved. It's a lot. It is an awful lot of people with underlying health issues.
Yeah, I've only been covering my street because my husband won't let me walk any further than that.
If you're shielding, you shouldn't be walking anyway.
No, I've been given permission to walk because of my condition. If I don't walk, I'm going to end up in a wheelchair. So I have to. But I've been dropping off face masks at certain houses down our street. But that's the only support I can give them.
That is personally, I think on a level, until anybody comes forward, I don't think there's a lot that we can actually do. Right. Yes, we do know. Some of us do know. Councillor Fraser and I do know that there are certain veterans within our parish that are shielding that we know about. But other than that, I don't know how or if there are ways we can find out.
Okay.
I am shielding.
Yeah, I got your shielding, Chivo. Yes, thank you. Tom.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to advise people that the military are issuing food parcels. I've had one delivered, and JJ, that's Michael Heritzak's wife, has organised another distribution of food parcels to veterans and to people whom the veterans might have picked up on their travels anyway. So it's a bit loose, but if you have got people that you think need some assistance,
yeah,
I think about using the military if you can't find any others.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, there is another group called Dream Say that are going around with food parcels for people that are having been put forward. I've been involved with that, with delivering as well, and again delivering with LSS and with the Food Bank Extra. Anybody else got anything they want to bring forward for ideas of what we can do or we can't do, measures we need to go, or contingency plans? Okay, thank you, Clark. I think we're doing quite well with where we are at the moment. We've still got people going out to do prescriptions. I believe we've still got melting pot going. So if anybody has got any ideas, please take them forward to Dominic or Elaine. Thank you. Item 14. Council is invited to consider and determine the following grant applications submitted to the Parish Council. The first one being the Springfield Initiative. I'm hoping everybody's had a good look through this. David, I see you with your hand up. I'll come back to you in a moment. Does anybody else wish to speak? Okay, David. You're muted, David.
Sorry about that. You will recall last time that we were actually asked to put in our grants quite early. So the figures I've actually quoted were only on part of the year from when we received the last grant. Okay, so I'll just give you an indication of that. What we were hoping to do, now that we've got a new employee on the books, was to open 2 nights of the week. But obviously with what's actually happened so far, that's just stopped us doing any more than that. Okay, so what you actually see in terms of what we put in for the grant, that's only for part of the year, because as I said, when we received the last grant, which was in October, it's then only a percentage from then until the end of this financial year, i.e. March 2020. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll just go with Brian Greenwood first. Dominic.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. I was going to bring that up about having $3,500 in October. With their finances appearing to be quite healthy, why would they need another grant of this amount? An explanation of that, really.
Okay. Thank you. Dominic.
Thank you, Chair. Just to confirm and just to clarify there, the grant that was made in October of last year was towards the initiatives activities in the year through to March 2020. The application that we're being asked to consider now is for the current financial year, and obviously the initiative isn't currently operating. It hasn't done so far this year, so it's for this year, Chair.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I see that I've got Catherine wants to speak, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to speak next. I'm quite perturbed at the fact that the expenditure that's shown in this account is £2,447.14, but they received a grant of £3,500. Anywhere else you get a grant from, any unspent grant money would normally return to where it was, where it came from. And so I asked for the previous years to be pulled, and it was exactly the same. Now I'm worried that what we're doing is building up reserves for the Springfield initiative, and just want to make sure councillors are aware. We had a negative general reserve at the end of 2019-2020, and because we depleted our general reserves through other things that we were doing and the fact that we've given out grants. And with a bank balance of £15,191.30 at the end of March, where they haven't actually spent any money since then because they haven't been operating, do we actually just want to top up their reserves? And I don't think we do. So I am actually not happy with the application as it is at the moment. I don't think it's necessary. But I will be abstaining from voting. So we need to work with groups, admittedly, but unspent grant money should be returned from where it comes from. As a resident association, we had to return money to the community foundation. We had unspent money when the resident association closed down, which we returned to Milton Keynes Council. And so, you know, ethically, the extra money, that over £1,000 should have been returned. And I think what we need to do is I'd like Community and Social Wellbeing to look at this and get it added into the grant application forms. So whoever the chair of Community and Social Wellbeing, I will approach Elaine and ask her to look at that for a agenda item when they get back to meetings. Thank you. I have Catherine Kent wishes to speak.
You've already said partly what I was going to say, Terry. Have you been running clubs for the last 3 months? Because if not, you have got funding that's not been spent on anything. Are you still paying rent for the club? No. So the money you've been given and the money you've got in the bank is not being spent. So why should we give you more money to put into your account? I agree with Terry 100%. I'm sorry, David.
Thank you. I have Ray Golding.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just to confirm with you regarding it, if you look at page 42 of the application, probably it's 1, 2, 3, I think it's 4 paragraphs in. It says, upon completion of the project, you will make a written report to the Parish Council explaining the use of the grant and the costs covered, copy of invoices to be included. If any amount of the grant remains unspent for the purpose it was given, it must be returned to the Parish Council.
Thank you for that. I hadn't actually read that properly, so thank you. I have Tubo.
Thank you, Chair. I think we have been supporting this group for the last God knows how long. And this addendum or new policy has not been noticed, has not been highlighted. And if that is the case, and knowing that we are doing this for ourselves, it's not really a commercial venture per se, other than another cost code for which activities which improve local well-being is used. I would suggest we authorize this for them and put it to them that if by next year this is not spent, next application will be required you to bring back the one it didn't use. So at least they will be aware of it. I know why they did not spend all this money might be to say, well, if they have something coming up in another few minutes, they might not run to us immediately to us because we are the only sponsors they have. Therefore, Chair, I will appeal to us to be aware of giving them this money. I don't know, am I echoing or what? It's as if I'm hearing myself. Give them this money, approve it for them, and give this condition to it. So by next day coming, that will be ready for us to preview. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Tubo. Tubo, if you can take your hand down, please, and also Ray. Thank you. I have Tom.
Thank you, Chair. I noticed last year, I didn't mention last year, but there seems to be the lack of the matched funding from Milton Keynes. Now, if Milton Keynes is no longer giving matched funding, what are the implications to the reserves that they are currently holding? I would have to have some sort of background on that before I could sensibly vote.
Thank you for that, Tom. I don't think they've had any funding from Milton Keynes Council since 2017-18. That was the last time the Milton Keynes Council gave funding for the Springfield Initiative, from what I can gather, looking at the accounts. So I think it's been us primarily. I hope that helps. I have Martin.
Thank you, Chair. As you've just highlighted, youth work is one of the areas which have fallen victim to continued austerity in local government spending. It's incredibly valuable, particularly in Fishermead and Springfield, doing a good job in the areas of the parish that really need it. And I think that obviously their expenditure will be different this year from what they expected it to be because of coronavirus. But I think it's very important that local councils, parish councils, should step into the breach and support youth clubs, because if we don't, nobody else is going to.
Thank you, Martin. Dan. Dan, you need to unmute.
Thank you, Chair. You mentioned that the last time which the Milton Council funded Springfield Club was 2017-2018. So as our colleagues mentioned now, we are the only parish council who are funding that. But the question I'm raising is, if their grant is about 2019, that's fine. But if they are talking about 2020, I do not understand, because still we have a problem with the coronavirus and the initial, the youth club is not operating. So I would appreciate if he support in the last year, but in the coming 2020, I'm not sure how it will be. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Darren Kendrick.
Yes, thank you, Chair. As things move forward, there's no current ballpark timeline for it, but I would imagine at some time or another we will go from 2 to 1 social sin. I'm just wondering if I could ask through the Chair, are there projections to open more nights? Are there projections to open educational courses for people within the parish? We do have less affluent areas in the parish, and it is nationally recognised by the government and other agencies that those in less affluent areas have suffered terribly with their education and their social development because of the pandemic. I'm just wondering if more nights and more things can be opened in the summertime with regards to this in outside gatherings. I don't know how many members there are on the initiative, but if you've got 5 nights, that's potentially 30 members that can come per week. I'd just like to ask for the Chair, are there any plans for that, or has anything been mentioned with regards to that?
Thank you, Darren. I have had nothing whatsoever, and I know the clerk has not heard from them. We had the discussion as to whether or not we'd heard from the initiative about extra nights, and I know that I'm sure Dominic will agree with me that we've heard absolutely nothing coming from them about an extra night. It was planned for during the last year, and it didn't happen. To be honest, I can't see anything happening this side of September with regard to meetings, because we're just in an area where the government are still saying that there will be there still will not be any mass gatherings at all. That's why we've still got major shows and major events that are still closing around the country right the way through to the August bank holiday. We will have to. We don't know. The only way we could look at that is through a crystal ball, and not one of us have got that, so we don't know. I'm hoping that maybe Carl can give us some ideas, as he's another trustee and he's asked to speak now. So, Carl.
Right. So earlier, last year, they managed to take on a new worker. She got the club working really well and started introducing cooking nights and all sorts, which are really, really busy. Her idea was then to go for a second night. Just as she started to prepare for a second night, all this crap hit off. So unfortunately, just as she was starting to build it, COVID came along and smacked her in the teeth. So yes, there was a willingness to go for a second night and possibly a third, depending how it went. But of course, that now goes back to starting again once they can open. So that's where they were. They were going to go for 2 and maybe 3 nights, but it's now been put back because obviously until COVID restrictions are lifted, they can't open.
Okay, thank you for that, Carl. Okay, Dan and Darren, can you put your hands down, please? And Carl, please put your hands down. Elaine. You're muted, Elaine.
Sorry, I was just thinking as a result of COVID, so I know that lots of social groups are going online. Has there been any thoughts about the youth club going online, doing cooking together? They could be doing lots of different things if there's that opportunity. Then you don't lose the interest with the people. You could be doing some music quizzes, maybe. Has there been, first of all, my question is, has any thought been given to that?
Again, Elaine, we wouldn't know because all we are is a provider of the money, right. and unfortunately, we don't get feedback.
Right, because I think if the youth club was going to try and continue and support the young people's development through this COVID time that we're in, then I think we should certainly think about some sort of grant. But because obviously you need to have one of the workers working and you need to pay them because of that. We're talking there that they're asking for 2,500 and we've got 1,000 left from last year, so we could think about giving 1,500 as a contribution to this year's running costs if they think about running in lockdown. That's only
Thank you for that. Are you making that proposal, Elaine?
Yeah, I'm making a proposal. Give 1,500 and ask if we can do some form of engagement with the young people in lockdown.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that proposal?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have the proposal on the table. Dan and Elaine, can you take your hands down then, please? And does anybody else wish to speak on this subject?
Yes, Chair.
Chubo.
I will want to propose we approve the whole money and give them an information regarding unused for next year.
Okay, you need to make that. That will then be an amendment. Okay, so you're providing that you're actually proposing an amendment to the proposal that's already on the table for £2,500. Is anybody seconding the amendment?
I'll second the amendment.
Thank you very much. Elaine, do you accept the amendment?
Explain the amendment.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm confused now.
I put a proposal down.
I know you did, but there's been an amendment to 2,500.
Well, that's
so the easiest way to do that is if you still think it's 1,500, then we can go to the vote on the amendment. Do a vote on the amendment first.
Oh, I still think it's 1,500. Sorry.
Chair.
Sorry, Darren.
Could I put a second amendment in, Chair?
You can. Sorry.
One amendment at a time, Chair.
Yeah, we only have one amendment on the table at a time. Which is about to say we need to vote on that amendment first. If that amendment passes, then that amendment then is live. Okay.
Terry, I've had my hands up. Can I have a right to reply?
Not yet, you can't, because we haven't got to a vote yet.
Well, yeah, but I think
there's an amendment on the table, David. You know the procedure. The amendment now has to be dealt with first.
Point of order, Chair. Some things have been said which are incorrect.
And you will get to that. Okay. You will get to that when we get back on the motion.
Okay, fine.
Okay, let's deal with the amendment first. Okay, and then you will get a chance to do that. But we have to deal with the amendment that's on the table first. So
that some of the information is inaccurate.
Order was made, and that must be dealt with first.
Sorry, Tom.
A point of order was made, so that must be dealt with first.
Okay, thank you. David, please go ahead with your point of order.
My point of order, Chair, which I did explain right at the start, was that the Parish Council asked us to put in our grant very early. Normally, we would only put our grant in at the expiry of the previous grant, i.e. if we got a grant in October, we'd apply. We were asked to put a grant in, the same for the Jeff Taylor, straight after the start of the new financial year. And what I'm saying is putting information out saying, well, you didn't spend this and didn't spend that. That's what we were asked to do. But I also said at the beginning that I've only shown a breakdown of what we've spent from October. If you look at what we actually spent from the beginning of the financial year, which was from April, it actually boosted our expenditure up to £4,200. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. And can I wish to raise a point of order, in which case this application could well be thrown out, because it does state that the annual expenditure for April the 1st to the 31st of March is what is on the accounts. So therefore, that is what we've got in front of us. If that's not correct, then please tell me now. And what I will do is I will put a proposal in that we don't deal with this now, and we deal with it when we've got the proper accounts. David, is that correct?
Partly, Chair, but I think because the parish council was asking us to put it in very quickly, and I was asked to get the breakdown of what our expenditure was by the 28th of May, that's what I moved it for. And I'm quite happy with what's shown, but what I'm saying is bear in mind that I'm only actually showing, even though what it says at the top, I'm actually only showing what our expenditure was from when we received the grant last year, from October until March this year.
Okay. The application states that this is the financial report from the 1st of April 2019 to the 31st of March 2020. If that is not correct, I believe that this application should be declared null and void until the proper accounts are actually given to the parish council. And I'm going to ask the clerk for advice on that.
Thanks, Chair. I think that David has just stated as a trustee that he's happy with the financial information as submitted in terms of their income and expenditure for the year. I think David is maybe making the point that we made a grant in October of last year, which he may have felt was for the next 12 months forward. Correct me if I'm wrong, David. However, that grant was for the financial period that it was made in, i.e. the 1920 financial year. We purposely asked the initiative to put their grant application in at the beginning of the financial year in order to give a grant potentially to fund their activities for the 12-month period from April 20 through to March 2021. We were trying to reset that whole procedure whereby we were being halfway through a year and we were unclear as to whether we were funding part of that year and part of the next year. We intentionally asked them to bring it forward to the beginning of the year, so it was very clear that the grant they were being awarded at the beginning of the year was for that year only, that financial year only.
Thank you for that clarification. And as long as the person that's put in the application is happy that these will be used. So what we'll do now, we will go for the vote on the amendment. Tubo, you've got your hand up.
Yes, Chair. I wanted to concur on what Dominic just said and to follow up with David's explanation that last year, all of us will have seen possibly we approve a bigger amount than what they're asking for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Elaine.
Sorry, Chair. It's just to say that you should all have received a polyvote on the amendment that Councillor De Serpa proposed, that you grant 1,500 as opposed to the full grant. And then the amendment was that it should be the full grant, should be paid in full. So you're voting on that amendment, whether to pay the full grant in full.
Okay, so yes, there is. It is there. Okay. Sharon, you've got your hand up.
I'm confused. Can I speak or?
No, Brian, not yet. Darren.
Yeah, when I said, can I put an amendment in, I meant an amendment to the amendment rather than an amendment to the original motion.
We only have one amendment on the table at a time, Darren, so we have got to go for that. Okay, so that's why we've got this up here yet. Nobody please vote on that yet. So we're going to deal with that. Brian.
Yeah, just I want clarification. The original proposal was for 2,500. Yeah?
No. No, the original proposal was for 1,500, which is now been amended to 2,500.
No, the original proposal on the order paper is for 2,500.
No, because that wasn't proposed in the end. The proposal.
Yes, it was.
If it's on the agenda, it doesn't mean it says it was proposed. Elaine proposed £1,500 to be instead of 2,500, and then there's been an amendment to that for 2,500. So the vote is for 2.5. The vote is for the amendment to go forward to the proposal.
Sorry, Chair, if I may, it was Councillor Uranta who made the amendment.
That's correct. Yes.
We should do. We should do the full grant. So we haven't got on to Councillor Kendrick's amendment yet. We are voting on Councillor Tubo and Councillor Uranta's amendment that we actually do the full grant and not 1,500.
Thank you, Elaine. Dominic.
Chair, just a reminder that in line with their previous declarations of interest and their positions in management positions within the trust, that those people that have declared need to not take part in the poll.
Thank you very much. I was just about to do that. So those people who are involved with the trust, so that's David and Carl. You're unable to vote, and you, Penny.
Yes.
Is that right, you, Penny? Okay, so 3 of you are not able to vote. Okay.
Okay.
So the amendment is that we pay £2,500 for the grant. Can I ask you, those members that can vote, to vote now?
Go away. Against.
Terry, it's Val. I'm unable to vote.
And my vote's not showing either. So I do not like this poly poll. Right, okay, Ray's is showing against, but mine isn't.
So I'm trying to vote, but I can't.
Right.
I don't know.
Chair, my vote's not showing, Chair.
I am.
Right, okay, we forget this poly poll. I do not. I'm making that void. I am going back to the manual. It's not working. My vote's not showing either. So, okay, we'll go back to the manual. So this is for the amendment, which is for £2,500.
Sure, it's working, you know.
It's not working now. I've scrapped it now, so we're not using it. So, okay, Councillor Baines, I'm against. Councillor De Serbo.
Against.
Councillor Dixon.
Against.
Councillor Fraser. You're on mute, Tom. Tom, you're on mute. Tom, you're speaking, but you are muted.
Can we come back to him then?
I'll come back to Councillor Fraser in a moment. Councillor Golding.
Against.
Councillor Greenwood.
Abstain.
Councillor Holton Davis can't vote. Councillor Cahin. You're muted, Adan.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. 4 or against or abstain?
4.
4. Councillor Cavarana can't vote. Councillor Kendrick?
4.
4. Thank you. Councillor Kent?
Against.
Councillor Odanuwu?
4.
Councillor Ogantula?
4.
Councillor Petchy?
4.
Councillor Uranta?
4.
6. Okay, so that is carried. So the proposal now, the answer, Sally, now is that it will be awarded £2,500. Darren, do you want to make your amendment now?
Yes, please, sir. Thank you. My amendment is paid in 2 installments.
Sorry, Darren, can you stop there a moment, please? I can hear an awful lot of noise. Can everybody please mute? Far too much background noise. Thank you. Darren, can you start again, please? Brian, can you mute, please? Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Chair. My proposal is to pay it in 2 instalments, September and February, for them to be able to account for things properly and for these projections that they've talked about. There isn't an action going forward, because obviously you don't want people to have new or extensions and then not have the money, or paying catch up money. I just think it would be better if it was in 2 instalments.
Thank you very much. Is there a seconder for that amendment?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Thank you, Ray. Does anybody wish to speak on the amendment, or can we go to the vote?
Chair.
Or Elaine, will you accept the amendment?
I'll accept it. But if you could make inquiries about going online, I think we should be trying to get this engagement continuing.
Okay, thank you very much. Clark, you want to speak?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that from Councillor Kendrick, the 2 particular months he was suggesting for the instalments.
September and February.
Thank you. And they are two equal instalments, I take it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I've got Darren. Do you want to speak again, Darren? Or are you taking your hand down? Thank you. Elaine De Servo, are you speaking? Or do you want to put your hand down? Can't hear you, Elaine. You're muted. Okay, thank you. Dominic, you want to speak again?
Sorry, Chair.
Thank you. Elaine Webb, you want to speak? Thank you. So the proposal is that it will be £2,500 and it will be split in equal amounts payable in September and February. So I'm going to go through this again with a reminder that there are 3 councillors that cannot vote. Councillor Baines, I'm abstaining. Councillor De Servo.
For that.
Councillor Dixon. You need to unmute, Val.
Sorry, I am for.
Councillor Fraser.
For.
Councillor Golding.
Yeah, 4, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Greenwood.
Abstain.
Councillor Caheen.
Mute yourself.
Dan, you need to unmute.
Yes. 4.
4, thank you. Councillor Kendrick.
4, please, Chair, thank you.
Councillor Kent.
Abstaining.
Councillor Odonuwu.
4.
Councillor Oguntola.
Abstain.
Councillor Pappen, no. Councillor Pesci.
Against.
And Councillor Uranta.
I'm against.
Thank you. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2 against, 1, 2, 3, 4 abstain. So the Springfield initiative will be paid £2,500 in 2 equal amounts, 1 in September and 1 in February.
Before we leave, Chair, remember that immediately after the end of the year, another application will come, and I hope nobody will say, "Oh, they have been paid in September or in February," and it become a problem now. So we should
no problem at all. No problem at all. Members, I'm going to. It's 8:45, and the next one again is another grant application, which I hope won't be as long. But we're going to have a 5-minute recess just to allow people a comfort break.
Oh, God. on you.
Thank you, members. If we can get everybody back now, please. Clark, do you have the list of those members that are trustees of the Jeff Taylor Trust so I can mark them on a recorded vote paper?
I did just check that whilst we had that break, and I've just reviewed the minutes from the annual meeting in 2019, and they are as follow. Councillor Dixon, Fraser, Halton Davis, Harris, Cavarana, Kent and Pafford.
Thank you very much. And everybody else is here to vote on this. Okay, members, who are we missing? Somebody's missing there. Elaine's back. That's great. Okay, and Dan's back. Members, this is item 4.2, which is 14.2, which is the Jeff Taylor Educational Trust application for £5,000, which was put into the budget in October last year for this year. And you will see the full accounts. As per normal, the following councillors will not be able to vote. That's Councillor Dixon, Fraser, Holton Davis, Harris, Cavarana, Kent and Pafford, as you are trustees. You will, though, be able to speak. And I will ask Councillor Pafford to speak first, as it is the application is in his name as the treasurer for the trust. David.
Thank you, Chair. I'll make this quite simple. It's not as complicated as the previous one, because as people are aware with the Jeff Taylor Trust, we only give the grants out once a year, and when those grants have gone out, that's it. The Springfield Initiative one, you've got a monthly thing in terms of hall hire and everything else. One of the things I would point out is that with regard to the number of applications we had last year, we had 16 applications. And if we'd been able to support every one of those applications with what they were requesting, it would have come out at just under £12,000. And obviously we can't do that. So what we do is we actually look at what people are applying for and whether it's their first application or whether it's a subsequent application. First applications, we try to give people 750 and subsequent applications 500. And what I've shown on the statement is that we actually went over our grant money by 7,500 to meet all the applications in terms of how we're able to do it. I did come back to the council earlier in the year asking if they would like to consider increasing the Jeff Taylor, because we don't know from year to year how many applications. And one of the problems is that the smaller the amount, it doesn't go very far. When people are requesting laptops, course fees, books, etc., or even travel expenses, the amounts we give are quite small. So I'm hoping that the councillors will fully support this. If there's any questions, I will ask those questions. But as I say, last year, across the parish, we had 16 applications. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.
I have information. Point of order, please.
Yes, go ahead, Brian.
Clarification, whatever you want. I believe David said that they went over their grants by 7,500. I think the figures say they went over by 2,500.
Yeah. 7,500. Yes, they did. That's right. They did go over, though. So, yeah, I think that's what David was trying to say. Thank you for that, Brian. Was that what you wanted to say, or you want to speak?
No, that's fine. I want it to be clear that we know exactly what we're talking about.
Can you put your hand down then, please? Thank you. Right. Okay, Catherine. You're muted, Catherine. Yeah, you can do that.
You said that I was a trustee. It's not me that is a trustee. It's the other KK.
Dominic, can you check that?
I will just check back to the minute from last year, Chair. Do you know what? It wasn't either. I did mention it was Councillor Cavarana, but my shorthand should have told me that it was actually Councillor Kendrick and rather than Councillor Kent. So my apologies to both of you. So just for clarification, replace Councillor Kendrick with Councillor Kent.
Okay, so Councillor Kent can vote. That's great. Okay, Martin. You're muted, Martin.
To say that my son has been a beneficiary whilst he was studying of grants from the Jeff Taylor Trust. They were extremely useful, very beneficial for his studies, and it's an absolutely splendid scheme that I think we should continue.
Would you make that proposal then, please?
I will indeed propose that we give the amount requested.
Thank you very much. Is there a seconder?
I will
I'll second
second
it.
that.
Loads of people seconded it. Okay. Elaine DeServo, got you up there to speak.
Yeah, I'm happy to support this. It's education for young people.
Thank you very much.
Or older students. I don't know if we have an age gap, an age limit.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Or shall I go straight to the vote? I'm going to use a manual again. Ray.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. It's just a bit of clarification. There seems to be a high number of the trustees are councillors within the parish. I was just wondering, is there trustees within the parish that are residents as well, or is it just all the trustees are parish councillors themselves?
They are all parish councillors.
So there is no actual residents or independent people outside of the organisation or outside of the parish council that have some input into this then, no?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a proposal. Oh, we've got lots of people who want to speak now. Let's have a look. Martin, do you want to speak again?
No, thank you, Chair.
You take your hand down then, please. Thank you. Dan. You'll need to unmute, Dan.
Thank you, Chair. I just need a clarification. How many trustees we have? We used to have only 3 people in this, organization. Now, are you mentioning more than 3 people, or how is it?
There are 7.
Okay, why would you have 7? 3 was.
Because that's what the trust. That's the people that put themselves forward and were accepted by this council.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You can take your hand down, please. Brian, are you speaking again, or are you going to take your hand down, please?
No, I want to speak. I didn't speak last time.
Yeah.
A very important point was made that grants, you're right, should be available not just to young people, to older people as well, because let's be fair, in this country, a lot of people need educating at the moment.
Thank you, Brian. We are apolitical, so hopefully that wasn't a dig. I've got Tom Fraser.
Okay.
And you need to unmute Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Chair. We've gone through this hurdle several times over the last 20 years, well, nearly 20 years now. And the advice from London that came through was that if all the trustees were councillors, it should be considered as a subcommittee of council. But we've never actually, it works as it is, so we've just let it go. It might be next year we may want to have well, we're going to think about how the committees are run next year anyway.
Thank you.
But I think, that's just odd information that is perhaps lacking in some of the councillors.
Thank you, Tom. I did ask the clerk to go forward with to get the legal view of that. And no, it's not a wholly owned trust of this council because it's operated outside of the council. Therefore, it's not a committee of this council. Clerk, can you just agree with me that that is correct, what they came back with?
Thank you, Chair. It was through a solicitor from Headley's who confirmed that the current setup did not qualify the arrangement in the way that Tom has described. The council is not the sole controlling trustee of the body.
Thank you very much. Okay, I have Darren Kendrick.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make clear that I believe that I was correct in thinking that when I'm on the David Taylor Trust, I am Mr. Darren Kendrick, a representative of the community, not Councillor Kendrick of Campbell Park Parish Council.
You may be, but through through your declarations and everything and interest, you have to. We actually, again, this was another one that crept in on us. You do have to declare an interest as a trustee and you are unable to vote on that. Again, Clark, can I just ask you just to clarify that?
Thank you, Chair. Anybody that's here tonight is in the persona of a parish councillor, and therefore they act within their adopted code of conduct.
Thank you very much. That is why I made sure that I got a list of everybody that was there, and making sure that I don't want it to come back and bite us to say we're operating illegally, and that way there we have to make sure of that. Okay, I've got nobody else showing to speak, so I'm going to go to the vote for, which is as per the proposal, to pay £5,000 to the Jeff Taylor Trust. Myself, Councillor Baines, I'm for. Councillor Servo?
For.
Councillor Golding?
For, Chair.
Councillor Greenwood?
For.
Councillor Cahin? You're muted then, Helen. Thank you.
For, Chair.
Councillor Kent?
For.
Councillor Nuru?
For.
Councillor Ogantula?
For.
Councillor Petchy?
For.
And Councillor Uranta?
For, Chair.
Thank you very much. That is going through unanimously. Okay. Item 15,
Chair,
which is the...
Chair, can I just speak a minute?
Well, we've already dealt with it, David.
Well, all I just wanted to quickly say was a vote of thanks to the councillors for supporting on this, because I think it does do good work within the parish. But also, can I say a vote of thanks for the parish council for the support it gives us in terms of advertising the Jeff Taylor Trust on notice boards and in its home ground magazine. That's all.
Thank you very much. And I would like to make a suggestion to you, David, and that is that you put together a package, an application form to the Community Foundation, because they have money, awash with money for educational stuff, and it will be well worth you putting in for a further £5,000 from the Community Foundation. Item 15, Milton Keynes Council Parishes Forum, page 61. You will see a letter from Councillor Darlington. The council is advised to note the next meeting of the parish forum has been delayed until July and that the meeting will be held remotely. Council is further invited to consider ideas and topics for the consideration at future forum meetings, including initiatives to increase participation of the forum. Does anybody want to speak on that? David, I take it you don't want to speak. Can you take your hand down, please? Elaine.
Who's the representatives on that forum? I just wondered.
It is Councillor Odnuru.
And also myself, Adam.
And Councillor Uranta.
Okay.
I think. Is it Councillor? I think Tubo's the other one. No. I think you're muted.
I think so. Dominic can help us there. I think so. Yes.
You don't even know if you're on the parish forum.
Well, I've got.
Sorry, I think that's hard.
Sorry, I've got a few of them I'm into. I think so. Yes.
I believe there was 2 reps and 2 understudies, Chair, if that's correct, or call them what you will.
We didn't have understudies anymore. What we do then is, well, we do have understudies, but we have several. So yeah, and I think the idea is if you cannot make the forum, you let the clerk know within 48 hours before the meeting so that he can arrange others. Dominic, can you, for some reason, you're not unmuting. You're muted and not unmuting. Is there a problem there?
There is, Chair. I'll try and talk quickly because as soon as I unmute, it mutes again. However, so just to recap, Councillor Odonu and Councillor Cahin are our 2 representatives.
Right.
We don't have standing deputies, and you are again correct in saying that we ask our representatives to give 48 hours notice so that we can then arrange a substitute.
Thank you very much. And I would like to thank Councillor Cabarana for stepping in twice for the last 2 when we needed him there, when he needed a representative there. So has anybody got any ideas they want to bring forward, Elaine?
Sorry, I was thinking well, we're going to talk about it at the Community and Social Wellbeing Committee, but we're thinking about having some walks. And I was going to have a little chat with David Pafford. There's Rollstone walks, and this is something that maybe we could be thinking about, that we could contribute, get people moving, because in lockdown we've all been out and about.
I think you've got the wrong agenda there. Wrong part of the agenda there. This is purely for the Parishes Forum meeting.
Well, I don't know what's discussed here because nobody gives me any feedback. So I was just giving you an idea that we could suggest walking.
It's where the parishes, the 50 parishes of Milton Keynes, should come together and bring forward items from the parishes for discussion with Milton Keynes Council, and Milton Keynes Council officers bring stuff to the parishes for the 50 parishes to discuss. And what we're looking at, what they're asking here, is how to increase the participation of the parishes, because it has been dire for the last 18 months, 2 years.
Right, well, maybe we should start by the people that are going from this parish engaging with the other councillors, and then we can know what's going on, perhaps.
Well, actually, the council, those people that have been attending haven't been bringing back reports, and in fact, I think I brought back the last report. Carl brought one back, and I brought one back because I'm actually there at the Parish Forum as a Milton Keynes councillor, and knowing that we hadn't got the report there, I brought it back. So yes, the idea is that we do have reports come back. Dominic.
Chair, just an observation, and I'm sure it won't have escaped you all, that the attendance at our meetings has actually been at its best level for some time since we've had remote meetings. Now, I wonder, clearly the next forum is going to be held remotely, and if that proves to be a benefit to the inclusion and the participation, I wonder whether that's something that the forum might consider as a more long-term option.
Yes, I think the next meeting remotely is on the 9th of July, which should come out. We should have ideas come out. I had a parish advisory group meeting. When did I have the parish advisory group meeting? On the 9th of June, with another one due at the end of the month to firm up the agenda. But yes, I agree. Basically, what we're trying to do is to get more parishes to get together, and it's always the same parishes that turn up. Literally, we don't have any of the smaller ones turn up anymore. We don't have any, very few rurals, and I think we're missing out on something here with 50 parish councils, and probably only, I think there was 8 there at the last one, but that's what we are. Catherine.
Yeah. Could I make a suggestion that the council look at the state of the trees? Because every year when we get the high winds, we're getting trees come down throughout Milton Keynes. And it's not just on our parish, but in other parishes where it's quite bad. Is there a programme?
You want
Is there a programme for this?
You want that put on the parish forum?
I would like it to, because I think it needs looking at.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the clerk's making a note of that. I know what the answer's going to be already, in that Milton Keynes Council are responsible for the trees, and to be honest, they haven't got the money for going around checking every single tree. There's I think it's 1.4 million trees in the borough. So
yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, but
I think they are relying on us as parish councils to report the trees that are broken, damaged, or dead or dying. So yeah, again, I think it's a good idea. We can get that put on the forum. I'll put it forward.
Okay.
Can you take your hand down, Catherine, please? Carl.
Yeah, one of the forum meetings, they actually discussed the planned tree surveys and they actually started. I think they've started them now, and it was going to take them about 18 months to complete. We did feed that back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is in hand, Catherine. That they are aware that they need to do a survey of the trees and start looking after them.
Okay.
Thank you, Carl. Ray.
Thanks, Chair. It was, again, just to confirm what Carl has just said. Daniel and I went to the Diversity Forum, and there is a survey for all the trees being done in Milton Keynes. So part of that survey, really, they should be looking at what needs to be if they need to be felled or just trimmed, because there's what the diversity team was saying is we've got a lot of trees that it really shouldn't have been planted in the first place.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, if anybody's got any further ideas, they can quite happily put them through to Dominic. Dominic can feed them to me, as well as going through to Heather Baker. I can then put them forward on the PAG. Hopefully we can go forward and try and, if anybody thinks of any ideas to bring other parish councils forward, great. That's what we need to do. I'm going to move on. Community asset transfer. Council is invited to note that the transfer of the Pirate Park from Milton Keynes Council to Campbell Park Parish Council has been completed. Council is further invited to note that the pirate ship has been added to the council insurance policy for damage and loss purposes, and that the servicing of the litter bins on the site is now being completed by the council contractor. So as it's now our land, we will be bringing some bits forward, hopefully through the property and building portfolio, to actually see what improvements we can do to make that a flagship, the same as we have done on Oldbrook. Does anybody wish to speak on that? I see 2 hands up, 3 hands up. Right, Dan. No. I've got David Pafford.
Thank you, Chair. It's really just about community asset transfer. Every time we're taking something off Milton Keynes Council, can I suggest that we pursue our community house, the one we're using as an office? We've got less staff now, but I think it's more important that we actually retain it as a community asset. And can we have that on the agenda so that we can actually push that Milton Keynes Council, when it's doing transfers, actually gives consideration to that? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, David, and I will give you some information on that. I'm having a discussion with the clerk with regard to a future agenda item where I intend to bring to council that we go for a positive community asset transfer, which is something where Milton Keynes Council make money out of, which is 1 Pink Arrow Place, and 2 negative asset transfers. Those 2 being the land at the back of the parish office, where it goes up to Frankhell Court, the garden there, which at the moment we're looking after as a landscape contract, but it really should be coming over to us to make sure it stays there. And also the little landscape depot. Quite funny actually, because something that came up in discussion between myself and the clerk pricked my interest, and I will be bringing something else also to council with regard to what we could do with that landscape depot. It actually got the clerk and I quite excited during that engagement over the phone, and I think it's something that we can do. I don't want to go into it right now because obviously it's not what we're talking about, but yes, I do intend to bring put something on the agenda very shortly regarding asset transfers. But David, thank you. You are right. It's time that Milton Keynes Council looked back at what myself and Councillor Kevin Wilson were doing and put into them with regard to positive asset transfers should be included, as well as negative asset transfers. Woughton Community Council deserve to take the rest of that building on that they're in now. That would be absolutely fantastic. And again, it would feed income into Woughton, the same as we could get positives and it would feed income into us if we look that way ahead. But yes, definitely. Thank you. I'm hoping that everybody will agree that we do need to look at something like that, but we'll get around to that once we get on to the asset transfer. Penny, I see you've got your hand up. Do you wish to speak? If you do, you'll need to unmute.
Is that it? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now, yes.
Yeah. I don't want to put you on the spot, and it doesn't matter if you haven't got an answer. But I'm in the middle of doing the children's page for Home Ground, and I wondered if, now that this has been completed, whether we could run a competition for the children to name the galleon. No, I don't want to put you on the spot. If you haven't decided, it doesn't matter.
I think we could take that to the community and wellbeing if you wanted. I think that's a great idea, Penny.
Can I just remind everybody that now it's asset transferred, that area is now part of, we'll have to go transfer over to buildings and property portfolio, not community social wellbeing. But yes, that can go to community social wellbeing. If everybody's happy that we do that, then you're on your next meeting, Elaine, if you want to put it on your agenda. And then it'll have to come to, and then bring it to council once you've discussed it.
We're meeting on Monday. We could maybe try and see if we can get it in on Monday. Okay.
Is the agenda already published?
Yeah, it is actually.
Well, okay. Is there a item on there about the community asset transfer? I haven't seen it.
It's not about that, but it's about community engagement. So
right, okay.
For young people, so I could put it under that.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. You can bring it up under that, then bring it to the council, and then we can see what we can do. But yeah, I mean, that ground is going to have to transfer to buildings and property portfolio to that committee. So it will be hopefully both committees working together with ideas.
I mean, this won't happen overnight because all the children aren't back at school. They won't be back until September, I don't think.
Okay, so, well, we've got plenty of time then, Penny, to deal with it.
Yes, we have.
Thank you very much for bringing that forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adan.
Thank you, Chair. I think my issue has been already discussed. So that's it. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay. Penny, can you take your hand down? And Adan, can you take your hand down, please? Okay, that item was to note. Item 17, which is one we do need to deal with tonight, which is committee is invited to review this and set the allotment rents for 2021-2022. The current rent is 42.4 pence per square metre, which will increase to 43.2 pence per square metre for 2020-2021. Council is invited to note the most recent consumer prices index CPI inflation rate is 0.9%, April 2020. So, anybody wish to speak? Penny and Adan, can you take your hands down, please? I think that was the last time. David.
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to say, with regard to increases, that's fine. Just bear in mind, this year, the allotment holders have had to distance themselves, and therefore it's been a problem working down there. But also because the Portaloo's been out of action, they're not been able to use that either as a facility. But I think, in terms of keeping the rents on the rise is a good thing because of the amount of maintenance money that we spent. And I believe it's been appreciated by the plot holders down there that the parish council has been doing on some of the plots. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Dan, do you want to speak again on this one?
Thank you. No, Chair, thank you.
Okay, can you take your hand down then, please?
I'll try just to do it. It's
okay.
You
just press it on the hand up. It'll come away again. Brian.
I would just like to propose what is on there really, that the percentage goes up within 0.9% as per the CPI.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that?
Yeah, I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you very much. So a proposal is on the table. Who else have I got there? I've got Catherine Kent.
Yeah, I agree with the money going up, but is there any news about doing the actual fencing and new gate round at Woolstone? We don't seem to hear any more about it.
I don't know whether it was actually budgeted for this year or next year. Do you have any idea on that, Clark?
I don't have an update, Chair. They got the earmarked fund for Willen for this year for the fencing there at the moment.
But it wasn't for Woolston this year, I don't think. Thank you very much. So it wasn't done for Woolston, but it is done for Willen for this year.
Right.
Okay. So we have a proposal and it's seconded for the increase by 0.9%. Which is the CPI inflation. Again, I'm going to quickly go through the manual voting. So if everybody gets unmute ready, Councillor Baines, I'm 4. Councillor De Serbo.
4.
Councillor Dixon.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Fraser.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Golding.
4.
Councillor Greenwood.
4.
Councillor Horton Davis. Are you still muted?
Penny's on mute.
Yeah, Penny's on you.
I'll come back to Penny. Councillor Cahin.
4.
Councillor Cabarana.
4.
Councillor Kendrick.
4.
Councillor Kent.
4.
Councillor Odenulu.
4.
Councillor Oguntola.
4.
Councillor Pafford.
4.
Councillor Pesci.
4.
Councillor Uranta.
Abstain.
Abstain. Penny, are you still 4? Thank you. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 4 and 1 abstention. So that is now carried. Item 18, Shepherd's Well and Orchard Academy. Nomination of school governor.
Terry, can I just come back?
Yeah.
It was just on a question that was asked about the actual fencing by Catherine, and I thought there was a promise made because of the lack of security to the actual gate at Wallstone that action would be taken, and possibly money taken out of the money that had been earmarked for the Willen fencing.
Well, when we did it in October, it went through as a proposal for the budget for Willen, and it was and Wallstone didn't go into the budget, David. So we are, as you know from last year, we were in a negative general reserve, so we're having to be very, very careful this year what we're doing. But if it is possible to be done, I'm sure at some point that John and Dan will look at it and come back to us.
They have a price given to us on that.
I know we did. I know, but it was put in for the budget for next year, not for this year. John has tried to secure the gate, by the way. Item 18, Shepherd's Well and Orchard Academy, nomination of school governor. Council is invited to consider nomination of council to serve as a school governor at Shepherd's Well and Orchard Academy. Does anybody wish to speak? Dominic.
Yes, thanks, Chair. Just to confirm that the East Midlands Academy Trust are responsible for both the sites, and they've got vacancies for co-opted governors, as they will serve both sites. The initial term is for 1 year with a further option for a 3-year extension. The chair of governors, the board of governors are having a meeting on the evening of the 6th of July, and any councillors that we might nominate would be invited to attend the meeting and basically talk to their nomination.
Thank you very much. Just so people are aware that there is a protocol on the governors for the schools, even the academies, with the amount of training that goes forward. So you must make sure you understand that there will be training to go through to become a governor and to act as a governor, and you will be required to attend meetings. So does anybody want to put their hand up to put themselves forward? Dan, I see your hand went up first. You wish to speak? You're muted. Thank you.
Yeah, the question is, if you want to become a governor, how many meetings in a year you will have?
I believe on that one it is 6 to 8 meetings at that trust, and if you don't attend the meetings, you won't be asked to come back after that. It's as simple as that. You will be required to attend the meetings.
No, they said they will provide you a training. Yeah.
The training is quite intensive. It's held monthly for the training. what Julie went on it, and it was actually quite intensive, and there is a lot of it. I think Darren, you've done the training there on that governor's training, and I think you remember you telling me at one time how intensive it actually was. Would you like to just say something on that?
So let me think about it.
Just 1 minute, let Darren tell you exactly what the training was.
Yes, thank you, Chair. It is quite intense, the training. You get background in lots of things, safeguarding, finance, all areas governance, required to go on learning walks, visitors to the store. There are options to be numeracy or literacy representatives or ambassadors, if you will. Yes, it is about 6 to 8 meetings a year. There is a lot of training involved. It can be intensive, but it is very, very rewarding as well.
Thank you, Darren. Adan, do you want to speak now?
Yes, sir. I'm interested to be a governor, but I have an issue. Can I resign for forum and go and be a governor instead?
It's totally different, Adan. The thing is, you'll be representing the council as the lone council governor on that school, and you must be able to attend all of these meetings because you'll be representing this council. So if you are interested, you will have to make an undertaking. You will attend all meetings and the trainings. So let me get other people to speak, but I've got you down as you're interested.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've got Tom Fraser.
Thank you, Chair. This parish, all councillors except for one, from about 20 years ago to about maybe closer to 10 years ago, was a governor of at least one school in the parish. Governors of more than one at the same time. All of them at some time in their career as a governor.
Sorry, Tom. Can I ask who it is that's making the noise in the background?
No, I'm not making no noise here.
Right, okay, no problem. Carry on, Tom.
Yeah. The parish governors, and that was the name of them historically, it was changed to community governor, and it was for that reason that many governors from the parish fell off the perch. But there is no reason why people should not be governors. I can advise you, because I was involved in the training of it. The training is very, very dense. It's a very, very hard program to get through. But over the period of maybe 2 years, you get through most of it, and you become really productive quite quickly, I would suggest. And I would also recommend that when community governors and the schools at the moment are screaming out, all schools are screaming out for governors. They cannot fill the post. It's almost like some parishes can't get councillors. So I would recommend that people do consider becoming a governor, whether you become a governor as a subset of the parish or a governor as a community governor. I don't really care, but there is a requirement, and our children are in bad state of health at the moment, educationally, and some schools are going to require a lot of help, especially virus. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. I have Penny.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It's okay. I don't want to talk now.
Okay, thank you. Crispina.
Chair, how do they intend on taking us through these trainings and the meetings, given the current environment we're in?
Obviously, current environment, it will be, I was think remote, but Dominic, you've actually asked this question, I believe.
Yeah, the initial meeting will be remote on the 6th of July, as I'm sure that all the subsequent ones will be until such time that they can meet conventionally in the same way that we will be able to. Certainly from my own experience, the training was all delivered by Milton Keynes Council. Back when I did it, it was actually up at the badminton centre. They used to use the facilities up there. I'm sure that in the same way that they're kind of having to improvise with lots of other training at the moment, it will be taken onto some form of remote training.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, one more question is, are these evening meetings or is it just any time during whatever day they require you to turn up?
The governor's meetings tend to be evening meetings, as does the majority of the training, which tends to be late afternoon or early evening. There are some of the more substantial modules that might actually be a daytime module.
Thank you.
Thank you. Darren?
Yeah, just quickly, just a point of information, Chair. The clerk is quite right in what you said with the training. What they try and do, they try and make it a Saturday morning / Saturday lunchtime thing, so people hopefully don't have to arrange for special time off from their jobs if it's a meeting that trains that it's quite intense, that's perhaps 4 or 5 hours long.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to speak?
Yes, Chair.
No. Go on, Chibo.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity. I wanted to know how many people they are looking to recruit in this school. Is it just the one school in Springfield, or do they have another one in any of our boroughs?
It's just the sites in Springfield. So as explained, it's Shepherdswell and Orchard, and they've currently got vacancies for 6 co-opted governors to those particular governors there.
Okay. Well, I haven't been a governor before, and everybody is saying it's challenging. I thought possibly if it is something I could be nominated to do it, I don't mind. However, I will leave it to those of you who's been before and probably looking forward to being again. But in absence of everything, I probably nominate myself.
Thank you, Shivo. If you want to nominate yourself, you are more than welcome to.
Okay, that's fine then. And how many of us are going? That was my question.
There's a vacancy for 1 councillor.
Only 1 councillor. Okay.
Only 1 councillor.
6.
Sorry, there's 6 councillors.
6 governors.
Well, right. Okay. So, Chibo, you're interested as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Is there anybody else that is interested in becoming a governor for this set of schools? Catherine.
I have been a governor before, some time ago, and I might be very interested in doing it again now.
Thank you. I will put you down then. And I've got Tom.
Thank you, Chair. I would be prepared to go as a parish governor or as, I don't know what happened there. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, yes, we can hear
you. My screen's just packed up. I'll go as a parish governor or a community governor.
Okay, well, I think you'll find that these are community governors, but it's from the parish council. So yeah. Okay. Thank you.
The school will make the nominations via the LEA. It's not, the parish can't appoint. It's not an appointment. It's a nomination.
It is a nomination. That is correct, Tom. That's why we're asking now for people that want to be nominated.
Yeah.
So, Darren, do you want to speak again?
I think somebody has touched the screen and it's changed. I don't know what is going on. Are we?
Yeah, don't
Are we
worry
looking at
about
somebody?
it. Don't worry about it, Tubo. We'll still see what we can still. I'm seeing somebody else's screen has been shared.
Somebody is sharing at the moment.
It is Tom. It is Tom.
Oh.
Leave it as it is.
Tom, can you go into your centre bar and unshare, please? It's the box with it's the actual square box.
With
unshare. Are you there, Tom?
Yes.
Right. Can you on your centre bar? You're suddenly sharing your screen. So can you just press in the square box on the taskbar?
Keep on going, Tom.
Sorry?
That's it. On the taskbar in the middle, in the centre, on the left-hand side of the 3 dots, you've got the rectangle with the cross. You need to just click onto that, please.
It's just gone to cross when I pressed it the last time. It was an arrow a minute ago.
Yeah, that's right. So it will be an arrow when it's giving you the option to share, but because you hit it maybe when you had the arrow, you now need to hit it just with the cross. To the left, Tom, of that. To the left of that.
To the square. Tom, there's a square with a cross in it on your taskbar.
That's right.
So you just
right,
need to
press that, please.
Not responding.
Well, Chair, should we just move on if it's not responding?
Let's just move on. Okay. Okay, so I have 4 people. Crispina, are you wanting to speak again?
Sorry, Chair, no.
Thank you. Right, okay. So we've got 4 people that have asked to be nominated, and I think as we just we go forward with that, I don't think we need to vote on that. Just go forward and let the clerk nominate those 4 people.
Chair,
are you okay with that, Dominic?
Yeah, what I will do, Chair, is I will communicate that news directly to the Clerk of Governors. I will include the contact information for the 4 people that we're putting forward as a nomination and ask that the clerk liaises directly with those nominees.
Thank you very much. Okay. Who's that?
This is Adam Kahir.
Hello, Dan.
I just want to decline. I'm not interested to do. Thank you.
You don't want to do it. Okay, so we'll take you out of that. So that's Tubo, Catherine and Tom Fraser. Thank you. We do need to move on. It's getting quite late. Members item, and that's Councillor Olentula. Nana, would you like to speak on this?
Oh yes, and I do thank you very much, Chair, and also just to say, yes, I do believe in training and education, but I actually decided I didn't want to do this a few days ago, just because of I just don't have the time or the capacity, and it's an 8-week course, so I actually changed my mind. I'm doing something shorter now.
Thank you, Nana.
So take that off now.
Thank you very much. So item 19 is withdrawn. Item 20, committee appointment. Council is invited to consider the request from Councillor Kaheen that he be appointed to fill the vacant seat on Finance, Administration and Policy Committee. I see people want to speak. I think, Darren, you want to speak?
Yes, Chair. Just to say that I'd recommend Councillor Kaheen to join this committee if Council so wished.
Thank you. Adan?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'm interested to be in the finance, committee, but again, also I want to step down in the planning committee. Thank you.
You want to step down from what committee?
Finance. I'm interested only finance. Only finance.
You want to go on finance?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You want to step down on the planning committee?
Yes.
On the planning committee?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Well, okay, thank you. We'll accept that resignation from the planning committee. Can I just say, members, that we will need to replace her down on that because it's so easy for that committee to be short and not able to do anything. Brian.
As I can see what Adan's trying to do. I am a little bit perturbed because while Adan has been on the planning committee, he's probably turned up for one meeting. And so that does disturb me because we are short on committees and we need commitment. And I think that's very important. As chair.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Okay, members, are we happy to for Dan to be going on to finance administration policy? Just give me a wave of your hands. Okay, thank you very much. That's dealt with. Thank you, Dan. You will be on the finance administration policy committee, and we accept your resignation from planning. Although I am perturbed over that one because of the fact that we do have problems with that committee. Anybody who wishes to go on to that committee, please come forward. Updates to register of members' interest. Members are reminded of their responsibility to update register of members' interest within 28 days of any relevant changes in their circumstances. Because we would have normally had a election on May the 8th, you really need to, and it was extended, you need to look at your register of members' interests. I completed mine, and I'm sure that Martin completed his as we were asked to by Milton Keynes Council, which is the same, exactly the same interest as it is for here. So please review your interests and make sure you update them as necessary. Item 22, committee meeting dates. Please note those. Of course, they will all be online. And the date of our next meeting will be Tuesday, the 21st of July, before council.
Chair.
Yeah, who's that?
That's Brian. As I understand
Go ahead, Brian.
As I understand it, the planning committee meeting is Monday the 29th of June, not Monday the 6th of July.
Okay, so that needs to be changed.
That
yes.
Could I just ask through the chair, Brian, was that something that was discussed at the last meeting?
Yes, it was discussed before then as well, and it was agreed that that would be the date, would be the 29th of June.
Yeah.
Okay. That could be fortunate because with the governor's nomination meeting being held on the 6th of July at the same time, you'd have had quite a big clash there.
Yeah, great. Okay, that's noted. That will be changed. Thank you, Brian. I got people's hands up. I just want to make sure they are because we've got nothing else on the agenda, so we can't discuss anything else. David.
So I've got double lines on mine, so it's a bit confusing. Yeah, I was going to say, if you look at the last plan control meeting, that date that Brian's just given you is on the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. No problem. And who else have we got there? Catherine, you wanted to speak?
Yeah. Can I just ask when we will be getting any feedback about the pub and the new office and how far we've gone with it, or is there any further done to it? Can we have it on the next meeting?
Chair. I can tell you exactly what that is. There's no change. We have left, but we have told the pub that we are not interested in the lease, but we have got our offer of the amount of money we put forward, and that is staying on the table.
Okay. Could it be brought up at the next full council meeting to let people know a bit more about what's going on?
Chair,
there is nothing going on. We've got no response.
Can I come in there? Chair,
yeah, go on, Dominic.
It is actually,
Catherine, hang on, please, Catherine. Dominic.
Right. It's actually within my clerk's report as far as the pub's concerned, and as the chair has concerned, the vendor is not interested in dealing with us.
Okay.
But while it stays on the table, it still remains as a community asset.
Okay.
Right, okay. Darren, do you want to speak?
Come on, go down.
Yes, please, Chair. Yeah, sorry. Bit confusing when the screen changed. Could I add my name added to item 18, please, Chair?
Yes. Okay, Darren Kendrick.
Yes, just
You all right doing that, Dominic?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just to say, Chair, that whatever the outcome of that may be, if anybody wanted, well, it's difficult at the moment, but it's telephone and email, etc. If anybody wanted any mentoring buddy, call it what you like, on whether they wanted to be a parish councillor and go school governor and going forward for that, I'd be happy to talk to people about it.
Thank you very much for that, Darren. Of course, you can actually invite people onto a Teams meeting at any time.
Chair.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Who's that?
Adam Karim.
Dan, go ahead, Dan.
Thank you, Chair. I didn't say my word when you were discussing about the parish forum, but can I say one word for that, please?
I didn't get that. We'll say again.
I said to you when you were discussing about the parish forum, I didn't say my word. So can I say something about that, please?
Yes, go on.
Yes, there were 2 meetings on that meeting. One of them I attended, and the other one I didn't attend. But people are requesting about the feedback. Nobody told me before, but in the coming meetings, I'll bring the feedback for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just make sure that in future you make sure you do let the clerk know 48 hours in advance that you can't attend the parish forum meeting? Okay, so we are fully, that way then I know there's 2 people there and they can do the feedback. Okay, I'm going to close the meeting now. Our next meeting, as I said, is Tuesday the 21st of July. And the way we are at the moment, that will definitely be remote. Thank you very much, members, and good night. Thank you for attending.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Can you turn the recording off, Dominic, please?